Hey, hi everyone. Thanks. Hey, hello everyone. Thanks for joining the last and the 12th session of the implementation series for this year. So this is going to be the last for this 2022 and 23. We're going to start with another implementation series sessions. So today's session is about implementation and integration in the Marketing Cloud. This will be generic to the implementation aspects and also something specific to the Marketing Cloud as well. We have Kunal Parikh joining today. So he has wide experience with the Marketing Cloud, implementing various projects. Talking about the implementation series, this series is focused on implementation aspects of the Marketing Cloud, more details into the use cases and then how to implement a specific use case. So we have done 11 other sessions and all of them are recorded and uploaded to the YouTube channel, Trailblazing Together. You can find the playlist specific to this one. And other thing that are done as part of the MC Learning Camp or various boot camps in the Marketing Cloud. You can find all those recordings as well in the same YouTube channel. So this session is also going to be recorded. And if you have any questions, please post them in the chat window. I'm going to mute everybody during the session. So if you want to talk and explain your question in detail, you can unmute after the session during the Q&A time, and you can explain it in detail. So I think that is it for now. With that, I will turn it over to you, Parikh. Kunal.
Thanks, JP. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for the setup. So, hey everyone, thanks for joining in. Today we'll cover with respect to, as mentioned, in terms of overall look at Salesforce Marketing Cloud implementation and integration. Pretty much, I mean, all of us use Marketing Cloud in terms of, doing campaigns, executing campaigns, setting up journeys, doing the standalone campaigns, etc. But there's a lot of work that goes in before all of that. I mean, that starts, and that's what we want to look at in terms of from the implementation side and the integration side of Marketing Cloud. Just a sec. Overall, a quick intro. So I head the overall practice at Social Beat for Salesforce. Have been a part of 150 plus implementations into Marketing Cloud for various customers across segments. And I hold a complete certification into Marketing Cloud and also CDP certified. So yeah, that's a quick introduction about me. Again, first things in terms of thank you everyone for allowing me to present and joining this wonderful session in terms of as a part of the series and as a part of the implementation integration topic that we want to cover. In terms of just setting with respect to the context of what we plan to cover during the session, so we will cover basically the overall Salesforce Marketing Cloud implementation integration, which will comprise of basically what is implementation and what is the understanding that we have for implementation. What is the significance with respect to the implementation in terms of the implementation that we carry out for customers, that we do for, say, I mean, if you are a Salesforce Marketing Cloud customer, then what is the significance of the implementation that is being carried out by your partner or by your development teams? What are the steps that go in behind implementation, how to carry those out? We'll also touch base on in terms of overall project management aspects of implementation integration for managing the project, managing the overall communication during the implementation integration cycle. We'll have a look at like overall in terms of risk management and how to manage risk during the implementation integration. And last, we'll cover with respect to any Q&As, happy to take those and address those, with respect to the different aspects of implementation integration of Marketing Cloud. In terms of a quick, so wanted to spend just 1 second with respect to, what is implementation. On a lighter note, I mean, this is what goes behind at a client side where, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of, overall thinking that goes behind saying that, oh, I mean, we bought in a platform, but how will we go about doing the implementation? And where you have, your management or your implementation SPOC, who then leads you to the implementation partner, and ask to call up the implementation experts. So basically, that's what goes in. I mean, at the client side or at a person end where they are implementing Marketing Cloud. But in terms of what is actually implementation, so basically, whenever a Salesforce Marketing Cloud license is procured or purchased, so as a customer or means as a partner, say if you're implementing it for a customer, what Salesforce does is Salesforce will definitely provide you with the license for Marketing Cloud, which are your marketing channels in terms of email, SMS, WhatsApp, Journey Builder, your Ad Studio, and your Automation Studio. But the license that is there is like an empty box. Basically, it's completely in terms of a non-configured empty box, which needs to be customized, configured, set up as per your brand, as per your organization, in terms of following the brand guidelines, as well as customizing it based on what you plan to use Marketing Cloud for. So that's basically in terms of the configuration and setup that is done as a first step in terms of as per your brand, as per your organization, on Marketing Cloud as a part of the implementation. And second is at the same time, integration with the source systems. So as a customer, as a client, it may be where say one of them is using an ERP, one of them is using a customized ERP, which is in-house, inbuilt, by the organization. Say a third organization may use a Salesforce CRM. At the same time, they may have a website on which majority of their business is done, like an e-commerce customer that is there. So there are various sources of data that is there from which may be required on Marketing Cloud, which is required on Marketing Cloud for executing your campaigns, executing your journeys. So basically, those are which need to be integrated. So integration with source systems, so that the data flow is carried out, the data flow happens, and basically you can use the data overall with respect to executing your standalone campaigns, executing your journeys end to end. That is there. So that's what implementation entails, basically the configuration, and in terms of doing the integrations so that the entire setup is ready, and then you can use Marketing Cloud with respect to executing campaigns, executing your journeys that are there. Next is in terms of significance of implementation. So in terms of what is the importance with respect to carrying out the implementations. So it's very ideal that when you're doing it for the first time, you do it right. I mean, there are cases where things have gone wrong as part of implementation, integration, and then the course correction that it requires, or the corrections that it requires for a carried out implementation, takes much more longer time, much more longer effort, and much more stressful times than you're doing it right the first time. It's better where say we as partners or people with experience on Marketing Cloud are involved during your implementation, so that it's done right, and they put in the best efforts in terms of the best practices from the market, best practices of what they have learned, so that you save on efforts, you do it the right first time, and you can get the best out of the platform that is there. With all of that said, that gives you basically, if you do it right, you can see the results, you can start using Marketing Cloud faster. Your turnaround time in terms of using the tool that you purchased, the license that you purchased, is faster. And you have a structured way where your data is organized, the structured way of doing the campaigns. And finally, yes, in terms of the results that we look at, I mean, post implementation integration helps you in terms of reaching out to the customers, communicating with them, gives you a complete 360-degree view of a customer that you're interacting with your CRM, with Marketing Cloud, and as well as on Marketing Cloud, and also helps you in terms of achieving your goals as per your marketing plans, as per your overall, marketing goals that you've set up for a year, 2 years, in terms of what you want to achieve. So that's the significance in terms of doing the implementation right and getting it done right by the correct people that is there. Now we move to more of insights into how do you carry out the implementation and integration. So what are the steps that typically go in with respect to actually configuring and actually setting up Marketing Cloud that is there. So overall, I mean, this will be how your overall plan will look. So this is like a broad high-level plan of your implementation integration, where you start with like discovery, a kind of a requirement gathering, do those pre-workshops, kickoffs with the customer in terms of going through the different aspects of Marketing Cloud. Then you'll have a second stage where you plan it out, you plan the overall solution, document your solution overall, get a sign off with the customer with respect to on the solution that has been prepared. And then we start, once all of that is done, you start with basically actually building the solution on Marketing Cloud, actually configuring all the studios, all your builders onto Marketing Cloud, which are a part of the plan and architect stage and the construct stage. And once you build, once your implementation integration is done, typically you do like definitely in terms of internal rounds of testing with a UAT with respect to the customer, identify in terms of bugs, if any, get those fixed, get a complete sign off with respect to overall on the implementation and integration that you agreed upon, and basically then give the final solution to the customer, hand it over, and then allow the customer to use the overall Marketing Cloud for their campaigns, for their overall journeys and sends that are there. So this is like an overall plan of what it will look like in terms of when you build a plan for Marketing Cloud. So first step, I mean, with respect to how the implementation integration basically starts with, that's mainly a discovery. I mean, this is more of like a discovery and deep dive into like a requirement gathering session with the customer. Why we call it as a discovery? So this is pretty different from what discovery has been done at the pre-sales stage or at the sales stage by your BD team. This is more from a project execution side, where as a execution team, you will understand from the customer, or you will understand from the business team in terms of what is it that they are looking out of Marketing Clouds, what are the requirements that can be met with respect to Marketing Clouds, who are going to be the stakeholders using the platform post the implementation integration that is done. You also identify, as we discussed in terms of for integration, similarly, you identify all the source systems that are there. So what are the historical systems on which, say, the customer data resides, on which a transaction data resides. So you identify all those data points, identify all those systems, so that when we are building a solution, I mean, we can build a solution which meets all those requirements that is there. Also understand from the client in terms of pain points. So say client 1 may have like email as a pain point. Client 2 may have SMS as a pain point. Say a third client may have email plus SMS and say not possible to execute journeys in their current platform as a pain point. So identify all of those during the discovery phase, and then list those down with respect to as a requirement of what we want to achieve at the end as a goal. Define the end goals that we want to achieve post implementation integration, and completely understand the architecture of the client so that you can build on a solution, you can provide a solution to the customer at the end of the implementation integration. So that's where we start with respect to a discovery. Post the discovery, it is where now this is a zeroed down plan in terms of, so we know the requirements, we know what is it that the client requires, what is it that is there in terms of a client architecture. So you build an actual plan based on each module, each studio, each builder, in terms of email, SMS, WhatsApp, in terms of the integrations, if there are journeys involved in terms of the scope. You plan those out in a week by week manner, so that the client also has visibility with respect to what is it, when is it, when will or which studio will be delivered when, by which dates or by which week will they be ready with respect to the end to end of Marketing Cloud. So that's like a overall plan that you build in, and then you follow with respect to during your implementation integration cycle. So post discovery is where you plan the overall approach, create a project plan along with the customer, and then use that during your implementation integration cycle that is there. Also, identify stakeholders. So in terms of who are the client stakeholders, who is the project sponsor, who is the team which is the team which is going to be involved during the project implementation integration. You need to do that identification with the customer, so that you as a implementation team, as a implementation stock, you know who to reach out when, and for which requirement or which studio builder, who is the correct person who will be able to help from the customer side, client side. So it's very important to identify the stakeholders. At the same time, build an escalation matrix for the client as well. So if things go south during the implementation integration, during any stage of that implementation integration, the client also is aware with respect to whom to reach out from the implementation side as well. So it's important to identify the stakeholders, define the stakeholders from both ends, and then begin with respect to the implementation integration, and have a clear channel of communication as well as clear flow of communication that is there. Now coming to in terms of configuration. So say we carried out the first steps where we understood what is required. We set the goals in terms of what is it as a end requirement that is there. We planned the project, we identified the stakeholders, decided the overall communication plan. Now we get on to the actual configuration into Marketing Cloud. So this would be your overall first step as a part of the implementation integration, where once you receive the logins, from the customer or as a customer, you set up the users. So you define who is going to use the platform, what roles are they going to have in terms of the various roles inside Marketing Cloud. So say there may be an admin who basically just manages your overall account. There will be a content creator who works on, say, creation of emails, say setting up of the emails, uploading the content creatives. There may be a person who works on the data, who works on a lot of data operations with respect to creating these, updating these, getting data from one system to the other, working on those SQL queries with respect to SQL, to filter out data, to create those subsegments. So basically, you identify all of the roles required, and then basically assign those roles, create those users on the platform to start with. Also, there are certain tickets which need to be raised. So there are certain activations which happen at the back end by the Salesforce support team. So you need to raise the tickets with respect to activation of branding, activation of send log, basically, which is used to track your data, track the reports, and which are not, or data points which are not available on, say, the reports, the standard reports. You track those on send logs. So you need to activate all of those. Also do an FTP connection. So as all of us are aware, Marketing Cloud comes in with a dedicated FTP channel for each customer, each client. So you need to activate that FTP in terms of for that client, set that FTP up with respect to a username, password, using applications like say the FTP based applications that are there, so that you can connect your data, you can access your data that is there. Set up the sender authentication package. So this is where means Marketing Cloud comes in with the sender authentication package, which is a part of branding as well. But the sender authentication package is basically which comes in with a set of IP and a domain and a branding that is there. So basically, you need to activate that. You need to set up these sender authentication package for the account, and so that you can use it with respect to your email sends and your overall branding across the account that is there on Marketing Cloud. Then there is data views, again similar to send log, where you need to activate it. Also the import, so which is basically once the FTP is activated, you can carry out the import, but it's where you raise a ticket with respect to import and the CAN spam act that is there. So these are certain tickets which you raise in terms of with support, and basically support helps you in terms of activating those from the backend with respect to your account, with respect to your license, and then helps in the overall configuration with respect to Marketing Cloud. Then post that is where you move to say specific studios and builders. So when we come to with respect to the first one, that is email studio. So just moving one step back, I mean, sorry, in terms of configuration, it's to do with respect to which is applicable throughout your account. So this is something which is applicable all across your account, and you will use it across your studios and builders. Now we move to specific in terms of email studio. So when we move to email studio, the setup would typically include where you set up your IP. So the private IPs that are assigned to your account or assigned to your brand, basically you set those IPs up, set those domains up, set up your send classifications which you've identified with the customer. So the names by which the emails will go out. You set those up on the platform in the admin panel of the email studio. There is also a Google authentication required. So basically Google has a specific requirement in terms of Gmail, where you do that authentication with them in terms of DKIM, CNAME, TXT verification of your domain and the subdomain that you're going to use for your email sends, so that basically Google whitelist the emails that are going to be sent out of that particular account, and they don't mark it as spam. They basically identify those domains and subdomains that, okay, I mean, this particular brand is going to use this particular domain for sending out marketing communications, and those are authentic communications that are there. So basically we don't put them as a part of spam, or we don't block them. So there's a Google authentication which is required. SAP is something, I mean, which we spoke about as a part of the generic setup as well. But yeah, you need to set up your sender authentication package. You need to configure that sender authentication package on the account to be able to use emails. Then coming to in terms of unsubscribe. So as a part of the CAN spam act, it's very important where you have an unsubscribe page for users who want to unsubscribe. And since the act is basically very I would say diligent with respect to managing unsubscribes, it's very important to manage unsubscribes. It's very important where you give a easy option to your end consumers or subscribers, where they can go ahead and unsubscribe if required. So you need to set up the unsubscribe page, build the unsubscribe page, configure the default page that is there. If you want to build a custom page as well, you can build that custom page with respect to unsubscribe or unsubscription center as it is called, so that you are following the CAN spam app and allowing users to unsubscribe easily if they want. Then comes building templates. So basically you build your templates for emailers in terms of with the right kind of content, creatives, designing your headers, footers, overall creatives which go inside an email template. So you build the overall template for the emailers. Let that be for overall campaigns as well, but also with respect to the first part of the setup in terms of IP warm-up. Once the template build-up is done, you start with respect to uploading a certain level of database that is there, which you use for IP warm-up. So which should have comprise of the active email IDs, active email users that are there, which you upload on the platform and then send those IP. So as a part of the IP warm-up, send those subscribers emails across a period of say 21 days to 30 days, so that you build up a reputation of the IP and domain on the various service providers that is there. So you build the templates, you carry out the IP warm-up, and build the reputation of the IP domain, get your email studio up and running with respect to the IP's domains ready with respect to having various ESPs identified as your, so that this particular brand is going to send out promotional communication, and as well as doing a build up of your overall content library in terms of say uploading content which you're going to use say across the next 3 months to 6 months in terms of creatives, in terms of content templates. So create that as a part of the overall setup and get the email studio up and running with respect to sending campaigns, sending standalone campaigns, as well as including emails as a part of journeys as well. There are a certain monitoring tools in terms of which you use with respect to, so when we are building templates for emailers, to check with respect to how the emails are rendered on various devices, there are tools like Litmus, say email on acid. So there are several tools that are there which you can use to see how your emails are rendering. And which are external tools so that it helps you in terms of your email rendering and taking the corrective action that is there with respect to your emails when you're building the emails that are there. So this in terms of overall comprises setup as a part of the email studio. Then we come to Mobile Studio. So Mobile Studio, it covers two parts. I mean, one is SMS and second is WhatsApp. SMS basically where you set up your long code, short code, set up the blackout window so that a specific time when the platform doesn't allow you to send SMSs as a part of marketing promotions to users so that you don't disturb users. This is purely as per the telecom regulations. These are different across regions. So I mean, India has the TRAI regulations and certain processes, different specific rules that are there, but which you follow. And you set those up as a part of the SMS setup. As mentioned, in India, it's like there is a requirement of the TRAI registration that is there. It's like a long process where you set up or you register with different telecom providers in India, right, from Vodafone to Airtel and various other providers that are there. So you need to do that as a part of using SMS from Marketing Cloud and set that up as a part of the TRAI registration, and so that you can use SMS out of it. Once all of these things are done, basically you do a internal round of testing with your team with certain numbers, say who are either on DND, certain non-DND numbers, to see that the SMS functionality is working, and then roll it out in terms of activation with respect to the channel to be used for actual campaigns that are there. Then, as we are aware, so till last year, basically WhatsApp was something which required a custom build, not that it was a feature of Marketing Cloud. So it required a custom integration. But now, since last year, basically Marketing Cloud comes along with WhatsApp. So you have a provision of where if you have purchased WhatsApp as a channel, basically you just need to configure WhatsApp. So basically you need to set up your Facebook account linked with WhatsApp and enter the credentials into Marketing Cloud so that it is identified. There are certain template approvals which are required as a part of WhatsApp messaging. So these are more of the template structures which you will use as a part of messaging, which you need to get it approved from Facebook and so that you can send out the WhatsApp communication that is there. So you carry that out and then basically test the messages so that in terms of deliverability, and then you are more than happy to use WhatsApp as a part of Journey Builder as one more channel of communication that is there. Yes, Mobile Studio also has mobile push. That's something, I mean, so it's very sporadic in terms of use, so not pretty much covered here, but mobile push is where you integrate your Android app, iOS app along with Marketing Cloud, and then use mobile push notifications to be used as a part of journey or as a part of messaging to customers on the app. So where you can notify them, send them push notifications to customers. So that's also a part of like Mobile Studio. But yeah, that's depending on, say, the customer requirement that is there. But that would also fall under a part of Mobile Studio where you integrate the SDK of your app along with Marketing Cloud. There is an SDK code which is available on the health site of Marketing Cloud, which you use to integrate your app and then carry out the testing once the integration is done with respect to the app that is there. So that's the third part in terms of the Mobile Studio capabilities and features. Then is Ad Studio, pretty much with respect to, so what would a typical use case of Ad Studio look like? So say, for example, if you're building a journey and you are targeting a particular user via email or SMS, and you know that particular lead is going to respond, but at that stage, somehow they're not opening your emails as a brand, they're not reacting to your SMSs, but you don't want that lead to go away. I mean, you still want to target him with respect to your brand ad that is there. So what you do is you show them an ad on the social channels, your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and Google Ads, and Snapchat, which you can connect and show them the ads there, and then get them to interact with the brand, maybe redirect them to the website or redirect them to a landing page on Marketing Cloud. So basically, that's a particular use case of Ad Studio. Also, say in terms of lookalike audiences is also one of the features with respect to Ad Studio. But yeah, for a setup, basically you connect your social accounts, your ad accounts in terms of Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, etc. With Marketing Cloud, so that basically the data flow happens between both the systems, and then you can create audiences, create those segments in terms of to which you want to show ads, push them to the respective ad accounts, and then show them ads on the specific social channels that are there. I'll quickly run a video, which covers basically Ad Studio in terms of, what is it that is there with respect to Ad Studio.
Advertising Studio from Salesforce Marketing Cloud connects your advertising with your marketing and CRM data to create personalized one-to-one customer journeys. Now all of your data securely stored inside Salesforce, including sales, service, marketing, and commerce interactions, can be used to power your digital advertising, from customer acquisition and re-engagement to media optimization.
Sorry, yes, JB?
Yeah, we're not able to see the video. The audio is good, but we don't see the video. Maybe it's playing in a different screen or different window that you're not sharing.
Okay. Now?
Allowing you to advertise directly on Facebook.
The same. We don't see the video.
Just a sec.
Advertising Studio from Salesforce Marketing Cloud connects your advertising with your marketing and CRM data to create personalized one-to-one customer journeys. Now all of your data securely stored inside Salesforce, including sales, service, marketing, and commerce interactions, can be used to power your digital advertising, from customer acquisition and re-engagement to media optimization, allowing you to advertise directly on Facebook, Google Search, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Even use Salesforce DMP to reach the entire display advertising ecosystem. You can quickly find and reach new prospects from lookalikes of your best customers. Then use these high-qualified audiences to drive successful Facebook campaigns, immediately capturing quality leads for your company right inside both sales and marketing clouds. And with Journey Builder, you can coordinate advertising with other channels, including email, sales, and service to increase ROI and customer satisfaction, excluding existing or unqualified customers. Improving the customer experience by delivering the right messages to the right prospects at the right time. Create secure one-to-one personalized advertising journeys for your customers with Advertising Studio. Blaze your trail with Salesforce.
Sure. So that was quick in terms of overall what Ad Studio has to offer and what you can do with respect to Ad Studio. Next is now we come to in terms of integration. So basically till here with respect to email.
Sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah.
can you go back to the presentation? We still see the video. Video is done, but I think good now.
Okay, now.
Yeah, resume. That's good. Thank you.
Sure. So in terms of this basically covers in terms of the overall implementation that is there. So what we saw with respect to email, mobile, and ads is something where it at least covers where all your channels are activated in terms of Marketing Cloud, and basically now the channels are up and running for usage in terms of campaigns. So basically, with these steps, at least one, you can start using the platform, using the various channels for doing your standalone campaigns that is there. Post this now comes in terms of the integrations. So this is where basically all your data flow, all your data from various systems come in into Marketing Cloud. So there are various options with respect to how you can integrate Marketing Cloud, so say for example, you are using a Salesforce Marketing Cloud along with a Salesforce CRM or any other Salesforce products, then there are connectors involved. So where you just need to configure the connector, and basically you can connect two clouds that are there, and the data flow is seamless between say Sales Cloud and Marketing Cloud. The advantages of the connector, it's again configuration. It's easy in terms of configuring. There's no development required. There is no coding required that is there. So you have one option of integrating your data, integrating your Salesforce products along with Marketing Cloud in the form of a connector. Say if it's a non-Salesforce product. So as we were discussing with respect to ERP or say a transactional system that is there, or say maybe a website that is there. There are various options of integrating that with Marketing Cloud. So first, I mean, in terms of, whenever we are carrying out an integration, we need to identify in terms of what the use cases are. So when I mean in terms of use cases, so is the data flow required on a real-time basis? Are you going to use your data real-time where say you do a transaction on a website or you do a transaction on a POS system and a communication needs to go out, then yes, that's a real-time use case which you want out of Marketing Cloud. If that is the case, you need to integrate it using the API-based systems that are there and the API-based integrations with respect to implementing the REST and the SOAP APIs of Marketing Cloud. If not, I mean, if the use cases don't require a real-time data, or say your journeys or your campaigns are running say once a day, or your automation is running once a day, and you are sending out communication maybe say once a day, not real time, then I mean it's okay where the data flow happens say maybe once a day, or maybe say once in every 6 hours or 8 hours. Then I mean you have an option of integrating your source system in terms of an FTP based integrations, where you build automations, you build your automation flows, and the file gets basically dropped on your FTP, and then basically that data gets ingested into Marketing Cloud. So there are three options in terms of integrating Marketing Cloud. So either the connector or the FTP or the API. So basically you identify the use case, identify basically the customer requirements, then you decide on an approach in terms of what are the ways that you need to integrate Marketing Cloud with, and then set up the integration with respect to the different types of integrations that need to be carried out. This is overall in terms of when you're integrating. So basically, this is a part of systems which are outside of Marketing Cloud. Once the data starts flowing into Marketing Cloud, it's where we reach this concept of contact builder setup. So this is where you actually, once the data starts flowing in, you build all your data models, you build all your data relationships, you build all your database tables, data extension tables onto Marketing Cloud. So that, the different sources of data from which it is flowing, it identifies that one unique customer and basically has a identification or has a data point of that one customer in like one line of a database that is there. So this is where post integration, you need to build up on the contact builder, you need to set up your data relationships, you need to build that overall data model, design it, and then have a unique identifier identifying each particular customer or your lead which you are getting in, and so that which based on which you can use it for the campaign journeys as you go on. So this is the second step, and which basically completes the overall integration that is there in terms of the data setup as a part of Marketing Cloud. Now, we have carried out where we implemented all the channels, we implemented, overall activated all the channels that are there, got the integrations done, where we got the different data sources and got the data inside Marketing Cloud. Then we come to Journey Builder, where we actually build the journeys using the data set that is there. So basically, you define a strategy, what use case you want to achieve via a journey. Let that be abandoned cart, let that be say a birthday-based journey, or let that be a loyalty-based journey. You design those, you structure those, then build an approach overall in terms of where your data is coming from, where your data resides in terms of which data extensions, which folders, what content creative will go in. So you decide on the approach, document that. Then you actually carry out building the journey in terms of the overall flow, designing the overall flow. And once that is done, then do a round of testing, again, internally as well as UAT. And then finally go live with respect to the overall journey builder that is there on different use cases that you want to build out of Journey Builder for campaigns that you want to execute. Then last is, so you've set up the platform, you've executed the journey for the customer, you've done the entire implementation integration. Definitely, you need to train your customer. So where you have, defined training sessions to the customer, where you take him through the various parts or various aspects of the setup. You take him through each channel, how to go about using the platform, how to go about using each individual channel, give him an overview, showcase the features, and then help him with respect to those Salesforce documents from the health side, so that he can start, learning using the platform. So this is like the last part with respect to as a part of an implementation integration project, where you carry out the training, make the customer learn independent on Marketing Cloud, using Marketing Cloud, so that he can execute his campaigns, execute his journeys that are there. Now, these are certain aspects in terms of overall on the project management side, where you can use different project management tools in terms of, say, a Jira with respect to managing your task, alignment of your task between different team members, so that there is clear visibility. Confluence with respect to documentation, so that you can have documents for each studio builder or each development that you carry out, so that an entire project is visible. For communication, you can either use Teams or Slack, where you can have your internal teams as well as you can include your customers, so that they are a part of the overall communication mechanism, and they are aware about, say, the project statuses. You can have your queries cleared, the customers can have their queries cleared, etc. So you can set up a channel on Teams or Slack and use that for overall communications that is there. So these are some aspects of project management platforms which you can use for your marketing cloud projects. Coming to risk management, I mean, it's an important step in terms of, say, managing risk. So where you typically maintain like a risk register during the implementation integration, so that based on the plan, you create like a risk register and which you keep track of and maintain, so that you can overcome those, you can mitigate those risks during the implementation integration as well. And at the same time, post implementation integration, say for one customer, you can identify what were the risks, what were the risks that actually happened or which led to a failure. Basically, you can at least cover those, mitigate those for the further implementation integrations that are there. So, I mean, it's ideal where you maintain that register and then look at that from a process perspective during the implementation integration project that is there. These are certain do's and don'ts overall. I mean, from the various implementations done and various implementations, at least what I have seen, where it's very important to scope out the project correctly, get a sign off or buy-in from the customer, plan the overall project, share the overall plan with the customer, update the stakeholders and communicate them clearly with respect to during the implementation integration, so that everyone is aware about the project statuses, everyone is aware about, say, if there are delays as well, it's ideal to communicate them early, then, I mean, reach a stage of escalations. Monitor the overall setup for issues and, go on fixing them as a part of the implementation integration. As well as set the expectations correctly. I mean, so this is also one thing where, seen with customers where, at sales or say it's more mainly with respect to even understanding from the customer side. So, I mean, the customers they know what they want, but from a marketing side, platform side, or from a, overall execution side, they're not well versed with respect to overall on the platform, and their expectations are sometimes really high and then difficult to meet. So it's better where we make them understand, set the expectations correctly, follow a combined approach of, say, agile and waterfall. So there's no specific method. I mean, definitely agile is what is typically being followed, but it's better where we have a mix of both, and that leads to like an overall successful project. And again, yes, keep the client aware about each stages, so that there are no surprises at the end, and it's like an overall successful implementation integration of marketing cloud that is there. Yes. So yeah, that was a quick snapshot in terms of implementation integrations. Happy to take questions in terms of around these and answer those.
There were a couple of sessions regarding the IP warming. So customer, let's say a client has newly got the IP provisioned, but then they do not have the customer base. Those many contacts are not there in the system. And how do we do the IP warming? Any considerations?
Right. So say if your customer doesn't have like a base, so you customize your IP warm up based on one in terms of the overall volume that the client is going to send out. So typically a benchmark is where what is the number of communications that as a client you're going to send out for the next 1 year. Now, if the answer is very small, where they say that, okay, I mean, overall, say by the end of the year, it's only going to be where 20,000 or 40,000 emails that they're going to send out to a base of about 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people. Then it's where you can just do a short IP warm up of 6 to 7 days. I mean, and it's more than enough because that load is never going to increase. But say if they say that, okay, I mean, their load is going to be high, but they don't have like a customer base, then you need to basically use the same customer base, say twice, thrice, or maybe 4 times, so that you can split that across 21 days. And you'll have to use a different creative each time that you send out. So say the first 5 days, you have like creative 1, then on day 5, you are, say using the entire base. So day 6 will be where you will restart with the same base. So you need to have a different creative that is there, so that at least those people don't end up unsubscribing or say complaining for spam, etc. So that's the only point where you need to reuse the different creatives and perform your IP warm up on the same base that is there for say about 15 days to 21 days that is there.
And also to add to that, if you don't really have that customer base, those many contacts are not in the system, then it's better to go with the shared IP instead of the dedicated IP. So with shared IP, it will be shared across different clients, marketing cloud instances. So the IP warming need not be done. And
Sure.
the next question is, what are the major challenges to look out for in terms of integration?
In terms of integration, so the major challenges, one, identification of the system. So it's very important again to identify one, what is the data that is required for you to execute your campaigns. Let that be individual channels or let that be the overall journey as well. So what is the data that is required? I mean, to zero down on saying that, okay, I mean, your I require a customer data, I require the transactional data, I require say maybe PII data, I may require say say any third type of data set that is required in terms of say their overall CRM journey kind of a thing, in terms of how they've interacted with the brand or how they've spoken to support. So identify all of the data set that is required. Once you identify in terms of that, okay, these are the data set required, identify the systems that are there, because otherwise what happens is say it might be where you do a okay, they have say a customer may have a CRM, a customer may have a transactional data, a customer may have a website, a customer may have like a customized database which they are using. And say you identify, if you don't do that identification or if you don't do that discovery understanding, you integrate, go ahead, integrate the CRM as a standard integration. And you feel that, okay, I mean, we've done the implementation integration and the customer is more than happy to start using the platform. But then the customer will come up with a use case where the data set doesn't reside into the CRM. So the data that is coming in is of no use for the marketing campaigns, because that data resides on the website database or on a third party other system database that is there. So it's very important to identify in terms of what are the data sets required, where is it coming from, and entire planning that and then carrying out the integrations so that there are no surprises or no redevelopment required at a later stage.
That's awesome. Thanks, Kunal. And the next question, can you please elaborate a little bit about Google authentication setup so that we don't miss out the Gmail target audience?
Sure. So in terms of Google authentication, so basically what you need to do is you need to, get your CNAME TXTs records. I mean, basically, you need to create those as a part of a Google account for the brand. You need to fetch the CNAME TXT records as a part of the Google admin panel that is there. And once you fetch those CNAME TXT records, from Google for that particular domain or subdomain that you are registering, you need to give it to support to map it to your SAP. So basically what support does is they do a backend configuration of those CNAME TXT with respect to your IP and the domains that you are going to use. And basically that is like a whitelisting in terms of or a connection that basically identifies your IP and domain to Google. And basically then you are free to send emailers to your Gmail base that is there, because your whitelisting has been carried out. So basically 2 steps where you need to fetch use the Google panel, get your CNAME TXTs for the domain that you're going to use or subdomain that you're going to use, give it to the Salesforce support team for configuration, and get a confirmation saying that that configuration is completed. And then you are good to use your Gmails for communications and sends that are there.
That's helpful. Thanks, Kunal. And the next question by Abdul, we did a IP warm-up for 21 days. After that, we saw an increase in recovering abandoned cards via email campaigns. Again, now we are seeing a dip. So how frequently do you suggest anyone to do IP warm-up?
So, okay, so IP warm-up, yes, I mean, it depends on, so, okay, one is the process side of things where you follow the processes. So that's as an implementer, you do the IP warm-up, you get the reputation up and running, and use that data. But from the client side or from the user side, it's very important that your data is also clean. At the same time, whatever data that you're generating in the future in the form of leads or in the form of say your data set that is there, it's where you have like a first party data with opt-ins, with the correct opt-ins that are there, and you're not looking at say buying data, purchasing data from different sources, or getting data which is not opted in. Because if that happens, then yes, basically the reputation will go down in terms of your IP and domains, and then your emails will start landing in spam, or say there'll be blocks that will start happening, and then it's where you need to do the IP warm up again. So one, I mean, from the customer side also, it's important where they have like a clean data set. And in terms of doing the IP warm-up, so what you need to do is even post the IP warm-ups, when you're doing your email campaigns, you need to monitor your IP domain reputation. So there are reports which Salesforce support also gives, and there are various third-party tools also available where you can check your IP and domain reputation that is there, which you need to monitor, so that if say post warm-up it's like high, but say if it is dropping to say a low or a medium, you can take the course correction, and at that stage maybe do an IP warm up again if required. But there is no fixed answer with respect to how many times. So it depends on the data quality as well, and it depends on the email communications also that are being sent out post the IP warm up. So it's like a monitoring phase which you need to continuously monitor, and then based on that take the corrective action.
I think those are all the questions for today, Kunal. And
Sure.
Thanks everyone, and thanks very much, Kunal. That is very helpful and informative session.
Sure.
And thank you everyone for joining. I'm going to stop the recording. I have